I'm Michelle Harrison, and my new ghost story, Unrest, is out on the 26th of April, and I'm going to talk to you about my top 5 ghost stories. So at number 5, I've got Dark Matter by Michelle Paver. It's about a boy called Jack who goes off to the Arctic to do an expedition with a group of other young men. And when I first heard about it, I didn't really think that it would be my kind of ghost story, because I usually go for the traditional ghost stories in haunted houses. But as I started to read it, and the surroundings that Jack is in is very remote and quite eerie, and it gets creepier and creepier because one by one his friends start to have to pull out of the expedition, and slowly Jack is left alone. And as these creepy things start happening to him, he's wondering about his sanity. It's a really, really good read. Coming in at number 4 is The Ever After by Amy Huntley. It's about a girl called Madison who has died. She doesn't know how she died, she can't remember how she died or anything about it. She's just like in a blank void, and she's surrounded by objects that she lost within a lifetime. And she finds that if she draws closer to these objects and reaches out for them, when she makes contact, she goes back to that point in her life where she lost the object, and so it gives little flashes of her life and insights of her, and gradually it leads up to the point of how she died. It's a really, really good read. At 3, I've got The Highwayman by Alfred Noyes, which isn't strictly a story. It's a poem, but it's quite a long poem, and the language in it is really evocative, and it's very haunting anyway. It talks about the moon being a ghostly galleon, and it's a love story between Bess, who is the landlord's daughter, and the highwayman, and at the end there's a ghostly twist. Number 2 is a book called Leaving Poppy by Kate Cann, and it's one of my favourite young adult books. I'm always recommending this one to people. It's about a girl called Amber who has been living in the shadow of her possessive sister called Poppy, and so she runs away to Cornwall on the pretence of going on holiday for a couple of weeks, but actually she's decided that she's not coming back to escape from Poppy. But when she gets to her new house with her flatmates, she feels like there's something in the house that's quite sinister, and there's a strange old lady down the street who keeps checking in on her, almost like she's warning her about something. And eventually this thing that's in the house starts to come to life again, and when Poppy actually comes to Cornwall to find Amber, this thing starts to feed into Poppy, and Poppy starts to feed off of this malevolent presence, and it's really, really creepy. I had to read it with myself just tucked under the covers, and there's quite a creepy bit where Amber is in bed actually, so being in bed isn't always the safest place to be. My number 1 ghost story is The Woman in Black by Susan Hill. It's a classic story with all the traditional ghost elements, like the isolated house, the eerie marshes surrounded by mist, and it's about a young lawyer called Arthur Kipps who goes to sort through a client's papers after her death, and he uncovers the story of the woman in black and eventually falls victim to her. I've seen the film, I've read the book, and I've seen the play, and all of them are terrifying in their own way. The book's very creepy and eerie and highly recommended.